Alright, admittedly, I screwed up, and I'm sorry. I said I would post more, I posted even less. And I apologize. I truly, truly do from the bottom of my heart. I am sorry. We've had friends and family here for the past 2 months, basically straight, and we've just been having a really good time with them, and this all kind of fell to the wayside. I have still been working in the garage, I just haven't been filming. And like I said, I'm sorry, I truly am. Since I've last seen you guys, a lot has changed. I sold my shovel head, which I said I never would. Yeah, life happens. Guy came to look at a different bike. He bought that bike and ended up making me an absolute ridiculous offer on my shovel that I couldn't say no to. So I did sell it, and I also did replace it. And what I replaced it with is right behind the camera, and I will show you guys that in a second. But first, I want to show you the 41 and update you on what's going on with it. Kind of looks exactly the same, right? But the only difference is this thing's pretty much ready to fire up. The only thing left that we need are the parts in this here Smucker's toppings box from WAP. WAP actually went to my garage in Springfield and mailed me this, and it just came in a couple hours ago. So we're gonna try to hammer this thing out and see if I can't get it to fire off today. I had a mag on it. It just wasn't happy with the mag, so I switched back over to the timer with the battery. My red knuckle is running a mag. I've always ran mags on all the other bikes, but we're gonna give this a shot. So the thing is all wired up, ready to go. I just need to basically put the ignition switch in and connect all the wiring to that, and then connect the battery and make, probably I'm gonna have to fabricate like a battery box to hold it in place, but we should at least be able to fire it off today without that. I switched over to the seat. I do dig this seat a little more. It's a little thinner and streamlined, fits the bike better. I will be able to use that damn king and queen seat on one bike one day though, because I love that seat. I want to make sure it actually gets on a bike. So that's the 41. We're getting close, and here is what I replaced the shovel with. 84 FXRT. Really, really clean bike, super nice. When I got it, it wasn't running, and it just had like a death of 1,000 cuts kind of deal. You know, I don't know, someone got a hold of it that wasn't too savvy, and did some really shoddy electrical work. I believe they must have put the other carburetor on it because it's got a CV in it. When I finally did get it running after doing all the electrical, it wouldn't idle. So I went to clean the carb and realized that it had a 40 Pilot jet in it, which I want to say is stock for a Sportster. So it was probably a Sportster CV, and they put it on this without thinking, while also switching over to the Thunder header, which had no brackets, so I had to make a bunch of brackets for that. Anyways, rebuilt the carb, jetted it properly, got the Thunder header bolted up properly, redid the wiring, and also a bunch of other little things, and this bike absolutely rips. I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely way different than anything else I've ever owned. This is the newest Harley I've ever owned by far, and you know, having that fifth gear, it's nice, especially out here where everyone drives 110 everywhere. Oh, swapped out the seat too. Big shout out to Junior for hooking me up with the seat. But yeah, this is the new baby girl. Pretty neat, pretty neat. So, without further ado, let's open up this damn package from WAP and see if we can't make the Knucklehead run. Try not to get WAP's address on here so you guys can't send them love letters, try to steal them from me. Here we go. I bought this battery like 2 years ago and it's been sitting in there, so hopefully it's still got some juice. What is this? Okay. Prism Supplies, fancy little bracket for your ignition switch and their ignition switch. So this is neat. And then, I don't even know what this is, I think it's just blank. Yeah, that's all I need. Alright. Thank you again, WAP. I will see you next week. So, I'm pretty sure this is actually not going to work for what we're trying to do. And I'll show you guys why in a second. I just have to get that key ring off, and I'm sure you don't want to sit here while I do that. So I think this might actually work. I was mistaken. I was thinking that we had to run it here, which wouldn't work with the oil line, but we can run it right there. Prism Supply makes a neat little bracket. If you ever need one of these, go check them out. Pretty damn cool. Save you some time and effort instead of having to cut one out. So, Let's pop those 2 kicker cover bolts off. Look like 1/2 inch. Hey, your boy still got it. Oh, new Milwaukee rig. Huh? You want a little review? Pretty neat because it's thin, nice and thin, getting them good, hard to get into spaces still. But the only qualm is not too much nut, but it does act as a normal ratchet as well. So you can use it as a normal ratchet until you loosen something up enough to where then you can hit that button. That was hard one-handed. So let's see if it'll break these. Oh, there you go. Milwaukee, I would still like a sponsorship. Because, you know, I love your stuff. Alright, that's that. Doobie doobie doo, doo doo. Test fit this here bracket. Make sure everything's cool. Bum bum bum. That stud is loose. We're going to have to tighten that down a little. Look at that. I'm just going to show there. Got all our wires run. This is taillight, stoplight. This is from the coil. This is, I don't remember, generator maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look. And then we gotta run one more for the battery, which is right here. I don't know if it held a charge. Like I said, I did buy this like 2 years ago and then didn't use it. Alright, let's check this out. I'm gonna set you guys down for a second here. That's way too high. Alright, hopefully you can see the battery. Battery. Screws. Coke bag. What I'm doing is putting these on here so we can put these little clampies on for the power probe. Got this at Harbor Freight, one of my favorite tools I've bought in probably the past year. Definitely worth getting one if you don't have one. It acts as a test light, but you can also power things with it as well, which is pretty handy when you're doing stuff like this. It's actually what I used on the RT to figure out all the wiring, because it was just a fucking mess. Oh, we got power. Look at that. So, to give you guys an example what we can do with this, because this is kind of an external power rather from the bike itself, I am going to, this is the worst filming ever, Wop, I miss you. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see this. So, it's external, right? So, power probe has a little ground. So if we ground this to the bike, we should be able to power up the tail light. Let's see if that works. Oh wow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this while showing you guys. How am I going to do this? Hold on. Time out on the field. Alright, so it's grounded to the bike. Let's put it to a power source. Huh? So now we know that works. Bingo bango. These things are super useful. You can also check to make sure that something's grounded properly as well. Like I said, Harbor Freight. I'm sure you can get a nice one, but for the amount of times I use it, I don't need anything crazy. Power probe. They didn't even sponsor me for that. Alright, back to this. Let's get this switch wired up. Where'd it go? Here it is. I'm going to get the switch wired up, and then I'll show you guys once it's all wired. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me heat shrink and yada yada yada. I'll show you what I got going on there, and then we're going to start fucking kicking this thing and see what happens. So we are all wired up. I went off of, you can find this online, and this is the diagram that I used. I did switch it up a little. You'll see that there's only a single wire coming off of this feed right here. This is actually my headlight. So on my red Knucklehead that you guys had seen in previous videos, I ran my headlight off of the B-post. Mag bike, I don't see why it wouldn't work with this one. It's just to save wire. You know, People are probably going to talk shit, but I really don't care. I think it looks cleaner. So I went off the post, came up here, and then I put an inline fuse actually in the headlight bucket. That way I'm not worried about popping shit. But like I said, it's just saving wire, and it's also a little cleaner looking for me. You know, I just like minimalist type stuff. Fed some wires through there. We still have to trim this up, get the battery mounted, and then run a negative, or a ground rather, for the battery. So I'm just going to run it right to here. And then we are going to get this thing on the ground, throw some fuel in it, and see what it does. But yeah, like I said, wiring's here. And if you guys are wiring up your bikes and need a good diagram, that's pretty cool right there. I think they make a poster of this as well. It also gives you your plug gaps, for a points magneto or an electronic ignition. Tells you what plugs to run on which bike, and then your points cap as well, which is pretty cool. We are wired. As far as the headlight with the internal fuse, yeah, that don't work with timer bikes, but it will work with magneto. I can vouch for that. It immediately blew up, but I'll just get a new fuse and then rewire that. That's no biggie. But I do know that we're working here. So accessory, and then we got the on, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Brakes, huh? Look at that. So I know we're doing well. Hopefully we get spark. As far as I know, that coil is good. I've never ran this motor actually. I bought it. It was in a completely different bike as it was, but I did hear it run on a video, and this is the exact setup it was with that coil, yada yada yada. So I'm hoping that this thing will actually fire off. So I'm gonna get the seat on it, get some fuel in it, tighten up the plugs, tighten up the timing plug, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, because this has been a much longer road than I wanted. Actually, I gotta adjust them bars a little bit. You see that? I don't like that angle. Bars gotta come up a little. All right. All right. And here she is on the ground. Tough as nails, dog. I don't know if you guys can see in the video, but it has the G-est lean. But I'm gonna leave it. I like it. Puking out oil because it's sumped from not running forever. But I'm gonna toss some fuel in it, kick it over a bunch of times. You guys can have a good laugh. Hopefully it fires up. Like, I really, really hope it fires up. It's been a long, long journey. There we go. New day, new outfit. I spoke to the gentleman I got the motor off of last night, and he was telling me a little bit different way of timing it. I guess this guy can't work, yada yada yada, so you can't really go by the timing mark. So I retimed it that way, kicked it over a few times without the camera. I'm sorry, I was excited, and it fired right up. So now we'll see if we can get it to start on camera, which it probably won't. And now that it's warm, can't do the sequence. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know that we're getting fuel. A kickback. I guess. So it seems like the battery's shot. I've been dicking around with it. I don't know if we'll be able to get this thing to fire, but alright. Well, I ironed that one. Pretty hot out. Kicking for a bit. Battery ended up dying. Not sure why. Like I said, that battery is 2 years old and I've never used it. I don't know if I can charge that style battery. I'm gonna ask a buddy of mine, see what he says, and we'll figure it out. If I can charge it, cool. If not, I may have to buy a new one. But the bike is running. A couple carb adjustments, a little bit of timing, and I think it'll be good to go. Pretty stoked on this thing. So, not a bad way to spend a winter, right? And then next week, I will be showing you guys updates on the 36. That's actually sitting in the living room and looking pretty cool. I'll show you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Later.